Well, this is the perfect time to ask, what do you think of our greatest ally?
Oh, of course, with Israel.
I don't think I can say the name.
You're referring to Australia.
Yeah.
Well,
If I say the name, they might have bleeped it out on YouTube. But
okay, well,
but
if
that's
we
all right.
have to
We already
bleep a
said
few
it. Right?
things,
Yeah. So
I'll just answer
what's your
straightforward. Yeah. So I think that there should not be a drop of blood, not a dime of currency, not a single bullet, not a single grain of gunpowder should go to help Israel do anything. They should be, honestly, with their actions, Israel should be a pariah state. We should have no business with them. The existence of Israel itself is a question that needs to be answered by the Middle East and not America. I'm a firm believer in the Monroe Doctrine, in George Washington's stance against foreign entangling alliances. We have a home, we have a whole continent to ourselves. We need to lead the world by example and not by military rule. It is an incredibly infeasible practice that Americans have been subjected to, that our government seeks to dominate the whole world militarily, whether it's in Israel, whether it's in China, whether it's against Russia. We have become despised because of this neoliberal, neocon imperialism, and Israel is the foremost and most despicable example of it. We have nothing in common with these people. They hate us. They see us as money bags, and we are some sort of...
And we are.
Absolutely. And we have nothing in common with them. It is a common lie among conservatives that actually these are God-fearing, patriotic people. They just have a different country. They're just fighting for a different flag. They have nothing in common with us, and we don't have any business helping them do absolutely anything. And especially with the Middle East, we need to get out of there. I know that the country has geopolitical interests. We want to have good trade. We want to have prosperity. We want to have good relations with other countries. But if you want that, and that's what George Washington wanted. We should be friends with all nations, allies with none.
Yeah.
If you want that, then we need to stop propping up pariah states like Israel. We need to stop engaging in terrible wars that... How is the war in Israel? How is the fall of Syria helping your average American?
It's helping Israel. That's who
Exactly.
it's for.
How is that's not putting food on the table in the Midwest? That's not helping towns in West Virginia get more industrialized. That's not helping people recover from the hurricanes in the Southeast, right? What's it for? It's for them and the people who run the government. And a lot of them are, if we can say that.
Yeah, the
right?
dual citizens, and
Yeah.
and that's a tricky one because if you're automatically a dual citizen with Israel, so
Absolutely.
how do we solve that?
Well, I think dual citizenship should be illegal in the country. I think
Yeah,
you should
so
have to choose.
No, yeah,
at
I
the
think
very least.
they should sign some contract where if they go back and if they do, then we bomb Israel.
Maybe.
We shouldn't give them a dime. That's my.
No.
I don't want anything. I'm much more pro-Palestinian than Israel, but I just don't want to be involved. I don't want to be fighting it because if we stopped funding Israel, they would have to. They wouldn't be able to treat the Palestinians.
They'd have to change their tone.
And it's. I don't know if you're watching the videos. I know you're not like pro-Palestinian, but it's evil what Israel is doing to them.
Of course.
Have you watched it? It's just their children
It's a
they're
very
killing.
brutal-
You can see that's evil, right? Even
It's
though
a very
you're not
brutal and
pro-Muslim.
human war that's being waged.
It's just disgusting.
And it's, and of course, I don't have a whole lot in common with Muslims either.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start waving an Iranian flag around. I get it. These people are also different from me. But it is a brutal and inhuman war which is being waged, and that should be a wake-up call to Americans. This is where your tax dollars are going. This is where your representatives, again, who are they representing? It's the House of Representatives, right? They're supposed to be representing you. And in the Senate, the senators are supposed to represent the states. We don't have any states in the Middle East. We don't have any citizens over there. And if we do, then they shouldn't be.
Yeah,
they shouldn't be citizens, or they shouldn't be there.
We're saying they have U.S. citizens hostage, but they're like Israel. They're part of the IDF. They're not American citizens.
Dual citizens, yeah.
Yeah, and it was shocking to me when this war started because I have a lot of friends and talking to them. I realized a lot of them support Israel over America. That was like, wow, this is interesting.
And that's supposedly the definition of anti-Semitism, to
It
claim
is.
that.
Yeah, I was nominated top 10 anti-Semites of the year. You might
Congratulations.
Make it next year. You might make it next year. It sounds like
No,
we'd
we're
had a big
working on
fight
it.
if we would disagreed on this one. But
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you too much. I need to find some things to argue with.
Yeah. No, well, the thing is, dual citizenship, I think that's a relatively new legislative invention. And also, what kind of country allows people to have dual loyalty? You can say, it's so wrong to claim that they have dual loyalty, then why are you still a citizen?
Yeah.
All right.
But
you should
a
pick.
lot of them do. You can't say all because that's not fair, but a lot of them do. That Jonathan Pollard, who's one of the worst spies, he even said, all Jews dual loyalty, and he was spying. Trump pardoned him.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and you can claim that there's good people in every race, and sure there are. I believe
I'm a true believer there is.
Yeah, no, of course. And, especially in all these countries that are waging war, I'm broadly anti-war. I think there have been just wars that have been fought, many of them
Not the majority of them,
in the early history of America. I think obviously the Revolutionary War, all those things, the Mexican-American War was great, and there's good people and and there's regular people, most people. Whoever, whenever, wherever in the world, they want to live normal lives. They want to have peace, prosperity, and stability. And if you're American, especially, you want some rights. you know, which I think we are entitled to by our forefathers, our heritage, and, you know, our living on this continent. But the existence of these wars, the existence of this mechanistic industrial slaughter, which is happening, it's happening in Europe too, incredibly tragically, you know.
Yeah.
And both of these wars, all of these conflicts are being facilitated by the infinite mystery of where all the U.S. tax dollars are going.
The amount of tax we pay is insane, you know, like the tax, obviously in California, there's some years I paid such an insane amount of taxes. I mean, a good problem to have, but it's just disgusting because where does our money go? It does nothing. You had to go help people with the hurricane. Who would even do that with the money?
We were in certain communities before any federal response. And of course, you could talk all day about how FEMA was mishandling the issue, how they were.
A dual citizen was head of that, I believe,
It was so hard for us to get in there and actually help people. We were turned away in a lot of places.
Yeah, what was that like? Was that a complete disaster during the hurricane? Because it looked really bad in the videos I saw.
Especially in North Carolina, whole towns wiped off. We, you know, our guys had to hike into certain areas to give supplies to people because it was desolated, destroyed.
What towns were you in?
Specific towns, I think the guys bounced around. I couldn't name a few off the top of my head, but it was
either. But I was just in the area where the hurricane was, doing seminars for jiu-jitsu, and it's such a nice, beautiful area. The people were so nice, and I saw it was literally all the towns I was in.
Broadly
was
around
wiped
Asheville.
out. Yeah, it was around that area. Yeah, I was in that section. It was just like that. People were so nice, so friendly out there, and they just got wiped out. No government assistance, and that's when I really saw you guys doing that. I'm like, well, these people are actually doing something, and our government isn't. And it's like we need to build from the ground up. So I think you're definitely on the right approach there.
And it's amazing the candidness you achieve when you take away all the cell phones, right? And you actually get on the ground with people and you're helping them. And you know, that's not just great for the people we're helping, of course.
You help all races, by the way, too, or
we prioritize almost to the exclusion of all others, practically to the exclusion of all others, our own people. But especially with these hurricanes.
But you wouldn't leave someone like drowning.
If somebody's drowning in a river, no, of course not. You know,
right.
because again, I believe in the general semblance of human rights and virtue. But we, as an organization that engages in charity, we should be allowed, socially permitted to focus on our own group. Again, it's about representation. And when we go out there, it's not just great for the people we're helping, you know, and it's amazing the type of candid appreciation you have from people because it's so great for our guys too, because our guys can join. And a lot of people, you know, they may be listening to this and they want to help their country. They want to help their people. They want to have an active role in history. And when our guys go out there and do that, it is amazing that they are able to actually feel and see the impact.
So good helping and doing stuff, you know.
Virtue is amazing.
I've worked for charities before, some of them being scams, but when I worked for one that was good, you know, where I was helping train inner city kids to work out and do sports and stuff, it felt so good actually helping. Fortunately, a lot of charities are scams and just take your money. I learned as well, working with some of the homeless charities.
That's why we don't take money.
And you're just like, oh, they're just scamming people's money.
And that's great when you see us doing all those things. We are self-funded, member-funded.
How do you raise? It seems like you guys fund yourselves.
Yeah, so you know, members, you know, we have members, and if you join the organization, you don't have to be rich. Actually, most of our members are middle class, right?
Probably seems like
we have some guys who are really, and it's a hard world out there. If you join and you don't have, you know, maybe you don't have a job, we'll help you. If you have the right virtues, if you have the right convictions, you're ready to work, you're ready to be better, we'll help you. You know, you want to go to these actions, you want to go to across the country, you want a plane ticket, you want something, you want to, you know, you don't have to bring your chainsaw. We'll give you a chainsaw if you're going to do disaster relief. You know, we'll put you in a car, we'll put you in a truck, we'll get you going. You know, all that you need is the will to succeed, the will to be better, and the will to make yourself the kind of person. And if you have that, you know, again, think about what people are, capable of. I think people that say, "Oh, there's no way they can do this. How do they do all these things?" I think you're underestimating Americans.